Hello everyone, welcome to Royal Palace online classes. Now today I am going to do problems based on current electricity. Theory regarding current electricity already completed in last 5 videos. Now today I am going to discuss the problems based on Kirchhoff's laws. So let us do the problems. First I am starting with question number 3.9 in page number 128 in your NCERT textbook. The question, in this question he has given a electrical circuit is having 10 ohms, 5 ohms, 5 and 10 and 5 ohms like this. He is asking current in every branch A, B, C, D, A. Current in AB, total current, current in BC. So I have already written the answer what we will get after solving. So let us solve this question in a very simple technique. Based on the condition of work done we can solve. Work done in any path, whatever may be the path followed, because electric field, electric force is a conservative force, work done in any path will be equal, is always same. So here I will take current I is reaching this junction, I1 is entering into this, I will take I minus I1 is entering into this. Why I am writing I minus I1? Because based on Kirchhoff's first law, when I enters, I1 leaves, remaining current will be I minus I1. Now if this is I1, this also will be I1 by using symmetry, condition of symmetry. If this is I minus I1, this also I can write it as I minus I1. Even if you observe the answers also, what current is flowing in AB, same current you got in DC also. You can check in your textbook also. What current you are getting here, same current you will get here. So based on symmetry, what I have done, this I have written I minus I1, this also I have written I minus I1. So this is I1, this is also I1. Now by applying junction rule at B, I1 is entering, I minus I1 is entering at B, I1 is leaving. So by using junction rule we can write I minus 2 I1 is also leaving. You add the current which are leaving, if you add you will get I minus I1 only. I minus 2 I1 plus I1 you will get I minus I1 only. That means current entering the junction is equal to current leaving the junction. Now let us take the path. First I will take the path ABC. Path ABC. From path ABC what you will get? Potential difference across AB plus potential difference across BC is equal to potential difference across AC. So I will assume total potential difference as V, that is equal to effective resistance into total current. Here I am finding the effective resistance of this total Wheatstone bridge. This is unbalanced Wheatstone bridge. This effective resistance I am calculating by using the principle of path followed. Work done in any path is always same for a conservative force. So here potential difference across AB according to Ohm's law I can write 10 into I minus I1 plus 5 into I1 is equal to potential difference, this I will take it as R into I, total resistance into total current. Next I will take the path, next time I am following the path, path ABDC, next time I am following the path ABDC. In this path what happens? Again potential difference across AB you will get 10 into I minus I1, 10 into I minus I1 plus between B and D, current is I minus 2 I1, resistance is 5, so 5 into I minus 2 I1. Similarly from D to C 10 into I minus I1, 10 into plus 10 into I minus I1, that is equal to again R into I, because that is also whenever I am going in this path or in this path, whatever may be the initial point and final point are same. According to the principle of work done also will be same. Potential difference is nothing but work done by charge. So therefore potential difference will be same, because initial point and final point are same. Now equate these two equations, you will get what you are going to get upon equating these two equations. you will get I1 is equal to 3 by 5 I. You equate these two. You equate these two and just substitute, equate these two, this one and this one will get cancelled. This is 5 I1. This is 5 I1. So equate these two equations. You can take the screenshot of this board and you can equate these two equations. You will get I1 is equal to 3 by 5 I. Now 3 by 5 I you substitute in any one of the equation. This 3 by 5 I you substitute here, 10 into I minus 3 by 5 I, 5 into 3 by 5 I, then I will get cancelled. You will get effective resistance as 7. Effective resistance you will get 7 ohms. First you equate these two equations, you will get I1 is equal to 3 by 5 I. Next substitute the value of I1 in any one of the equation, either equation 1 or equation 2 you substitute. I will get effective resistance as 7 ohms. Now this total resistance is 7 and this resistance is 10. Now this circuit will become very simple here, 7 and 10 will be in a series attached to only one cell of potential difference 10 volts. This is 7 and this is 10. This effective total resistance of this I got it as 7 ohms by using this simple technique. Simple technique we got effective resistance as 7 ohms. This is 7, this is 10. So total effective resistance will be 17. So this total part I got it as 7. Effective resistance of this part I got 7. 7 and 10 are in series, you will get 17. So then you will get 17. If you are getting total current, you can write total voltage 10 volts by 17. So total current you will get it as 10 by 17. So this is the answer. So while you are writing in the exam, what you have to write? What is given, and first you have to write given the resistances, and you can write one sentence here. As electric force is a conservative force, work done in every path, whatever may be the path followed, work done always depends upon initial point and final point. So I am choosing a path ABC, and current distribution you can see, this is current I minus I1, I1, I minus 2 I1. Why I am writing here I minus I1 instead of taking I1 and I2? Because if more number of variables are there, more number of unknown values are there, then what happens, you will require more number of equations. Suppose if you see this problem answered in different books, so they have taken this as I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5. So if you are taking I1, I2, I3, I4 and I5, you require 5 equations to solve. For that reason I made only 2 unknown values, one is I, other one is I1. So after getting 7 ohms you will get answer as 10 by 17. Now this current you know I minus I1. So I you got 10 by 17, 10 by 17 minus I1, how much you will get? I1 you will get 3 by 5 into I. So I1 what you are going to get? I1 is equal to 3 by 5 into 10 by 17. How much you will get? 6 by 17. So this current is 6 by 17. If this current is 6 by 17, this also 6 by 17 only. So current across BC, what is given answer in your textbook? 6 by 17. Once this is, next let us see problem number 3.10. This problem is based on meter bridge. Meter bridge. The question is, among the two gaps of meter bridge, this is left gap, right gap, and this is the wire, and galvanometer will be there as usual for solving problem. There is no, I think, not required to draw the galvanometer. The thing is, this is taken as X in your question, this is taken as Y. In textbook also, while giving description, left gap they will take it as X, right gap you can take it as Y. Or you can remember like left gap by right gap is equal to L by 100 minus L. So X, Y is given 12.5 and is asking X. X by Y is equal to L by 100 minus L. L by 100 minus L. So we have to find, we has given the balancing length in that question. What you have to find is y is given 12.5, y is given 12.5, you have to find x also, and in your question he has clearly given the balancing length. Just substitute the balancing length in place of L, then you will get x value. The balancing length, if you substitute what he has given in the question, if you substitute you will get the answer. And afterwards what is asking, if you interchange, if you are interchanging the lengths, means x you will get 8.61, x you will get 8.61 ohms. Afterwards in question B what is asking is, in question B what is asking, if you interchange them, so after finding x, if you interchange them means, if you interchange them, what is the balancing length is asking. So when you are interchanging them, you will write y by x is equal to L by 100 minus L. In question B you have to find balancing length. What is y value? Y value is 12.5. From previous case you will get x value as 8.61. Then you have to find balancing length L by 100 minus L. This is for question B. This is answer for B. This is answer for A. While writing in exam, you have to write clearly, given x is asking x, y is given, and balancing length is given. Then afterwards you should start solving by using the principle of meter bridge. Left gap by right gap is equal to L by 100 minus L. This L he has given is asking you to find x. And second question what he has given, if you observe question number B, in the question number B what is telling, I interchanged the resistances, that means x connected at y, y connected at x, what is the balancing length. When you are interchanging the resistances, balancing length also will change. So this is one of the easy questions we can directly solve by using the principle of meter bridge. Now let us see question number 3.11. In 3.11 there is a cell, it is having some internal resistance 0.5 internal resistance, okay, and it is connected to one external resistor of 15.5 ohms. Now this cell is charged, this cell is 8 volts, this cell is charged by using another cell of EMF 120. Now we can calculate effective EMF. Effective EMF is net EMF will be, as this cell is getting discharged, net EMF will be 120 minus 8, it is 112 is the net EMF. Net EMF is 112 volts. Now what is asking, potential difference. Potential difference while cell is discharging, while I am discussing potentiometer, I told when cell is discharging V is equal to E plus IR, where R is the internal resistance is 0.5. So I is equal to what you will get here, I is equal to 112 potential difference by total resistance. Total resistance is 16, 0.5 plus 15.5. So this you will get it as 7. This you will get it as 7. Then potential difference while it is charging is, here you have to take EMF of the cell only. You should not take 120 here again. 120 is the cell which is charging this cell. That means we are taking a cell and putting it for charging. So this is 8 plus current value is 7 into 0.5. You will get answer as 11.5 volts. So this is the potential difference across the cell. And next, coming to next question 3.12. 3.12, what he has given is there is a potentiometer. This question is based on potentiometer. You can refer back our video based on potentiometer, where we have discussed the comparison of cells. Once again you can recap, you can go to the lectures which we have discussed already on potentiometer. Potentiometer, second video I clearly explained how to compare the EMF of two cells. What is the formula for comparison? E1 by E2 is equal to L1 by L2. So what he has given in the question is, there was a cell of voltage 1.25 volt. This cell first he kept in potentiometer and he got a balancing length 35 centimeters. He got balancing length 35 centimeters. Next time he kept another cell whose EMF is unknown. That is one of the use of potentiometer. By using potentiometer we can find unknown EMFs. If you know the EMF of one cell, you can find the EMF of other cell. By using meter bridge also we can find unknown resistances. Some people will get what is the use of meter bridge. Meter bridge, suppose if you manufacture a new wire, that wire will have some resistance. How to find the resistance of that wire means, you take a known resistance in left gap or right gap, you keep unknown resistance in left, suppose you are taking known resistance in X, you take your new wire along Y, then find the balancing point, then you can find resistance of the wire. Okay. There is a color code for resistance. How you are giving color code? By using meter bridge we can find the resistance of the wire which is newly manufactured. So here also if you make a new cell, how to find the EMF, that by using comparing EMF methods of meter bridge we can find. So E1 is given as 1.25, E2 you have to find, L1 is 35 centimeters, L2 is 63, then find E2. You find E2 by using your mathematics techniques. Okay. Next, last question 3.13. In question number 3.13, you can refer your NCERT textbook while seeing the video. Question number 3.13, what he has given is, he has given the number of electrons per unit volume. This is based on the concept of drift velocity. This is based on the concept of drift velocity, which is our first video. We already discussed what is drift velocity. Drift velocity Vd. It is based on drift velocity. What is formula for drift velocity? Drift velocity is equal to I by N E A. N is number of electrons per unit volume. He has given number of electrons per unit volume, and E is electron charge, I is the current. Now what is telling, what is the time taken by an electron to move from one end of the conductor to the other end of the conductor through drift? What is the time taken by electron to move from one end of the conductor to other end of the conductor through drifting? So what is time taken to drift from one end to other end? Time taken will be equal to length by drift velocity. Length by drift velocity. Now drift velocity, current is given 3 amperes, you write here. N value is given 8.5 into 10 to the power of 28, you write there. And electron charge is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Keep your electron charge 1.9 into 10 to the power of minus 19 coulomb. Then area is given as 2.0 into 10 power minus 6 meter square. This is given as meter square. This is per meter cube. Then find drift velocity. After finding drift velocity, you find time taken. Time taken is, length is given as 3 centimeters, or length is given in your textbook 3 meters. Sorry, not centimeters, 3 meters. Substitute, find drift velocity and find time. You will get answer as 2.72 into 10 to the power of 4 seconds. So all calculations as given as a work for you, as a homework for you. You can put the calculations and you can find the answer. So thank you for joining me. If you have any doubts or if you have any comments to be written, you can comment in the comment section, and please subscribe my channel. Thank you once again.